I'm going to tell you a story. Today we are at St Mary's Church in Odstock, a small village on the outskirts of Salisbury in Wiltshire, England. It's a story about a father's love for his daughter. It's a story of an innocent man who was wrongly executed. It's a story about a gypsy curse. And it's a story about why this church door, for more than 150 years, was never locked. In the late 18th and early 19th century, a travelling community known as Gypsies used to frequent the village of Odstock and camp locally. Now, in 1800, a horse belonging to a carpenter named John Marsh was stolen. A local gypsy by the name of Joshua Scamp was arrested for the theft of the horse and sentenced to death, as his coat was found at the scene of the crime, even though he protested his innocence. On the 1st of April 1801, Joshua Scamp was taken to the Fisherton jail in the nearby city of Salisbury for his execution. Whilst on the gallows, he asked his family if they would look after his body once he had passed, which they obviously agreed to. He then turned to someone else in the crowd and said to them, "You see what you have brought me to? Live soberly and take care of your wife and family." With that, he placed the rope around his own neck and gave the signal that he was ready. Because Joshua Scamp was a popular and respected member of the community, and because people believed his innocence, including the local vicar, it was agreed that his body could be buried in the local church. Now, not long after Joshua Scamp's execution, his son-in-law was also found guilty of horse theft, and he was tried and executed as well. Before his execution, he actually admitted to the theft of the horse that Joshua Scamp had been executed for. What had happened is his son-in-law had borrowed Joshua Scamp's coat on the evening of the theft, and when stealing the horse, the coat had been left behind, and the coat was used as evidence to convict Joshua Scamp. Joshua Scamp knew that the penalty for horse theft was execution. This is why he didn't turn in his son-in-law, because he didn't want his daughter to be without a husband, and he also didn't want his daughter to live with the shame of being the wife of a convicted thief. When this came to light, Joshua Scamp became somewhat of a martyr and an example of what a father would sacrifice for the love of his daughter. The gypsy community would gather here at Joshua Scamp's grave every single year on the 1st of April to remember and celebrate his life and the sacrifice that he made. The carving on the headstone has now faded away. However, on the plaque, it reads, "In memory of Joshua Scamp, who died April the 1st, 1801, may his brave deed be remembered to his credit here and hereafter." Now, that's not the end of the story. As the years went by, the gatherings to remember Joshua Scamp became more popular, and after visiting the church, the Gypsies would then visit the local pub, a few minutes' walk from the church, to continue celebrating the memory of Joshua Scamp. This is a postcard of what the pub used to look like when my father used to work there as a chef in the 1970s and 80s. Apparently, these gatherings started to become more and more raucous, and the villagers started to complain about the noise and the antics of the celebrations. In an attempt to deter the Gypsies from returning year upon year to celebrate the memory of Joshua Scamp, the resident vicar decided to uproot the rose bush that the Gypsies had planted next to his grave, and the vicar also decided to lock the door of the church. Now, this infuriated the Gypsies, and a gypsy by the name of Mother Lee, also known as the Queen of the Gypsies, depending on what source you read from, she placed a curse on the church, or on the door of the church, claiming that anybody who locked the church from that point forward would die within the year. Apparently, this was in 1859. It is said that shortly after that, 2 church wardens died within a year of locking the door. One locked it out of defiance because he didn't believe the curse, and the other wasn't aware of the curse and locked the door. It's said that after the second death, the resident vicar decided to throw the key in the local river, the River Ebble, so that nobody would be able to lock the door again. It is said that in 2007, the Bishop of Salisbury and the Gypsy Queen met at the church in Odstock, and the Gypsy Queen agreed to lift the curse from the church. So, let's try the handle and see if the door opens. So there we have it. The church door is firmly locked. There are no recent deaths that I'm aware of that are associated with the curse, so that must mean that the curse has been lifted. All of the information I've shared with you today, I've found just from researching on Google and also from the Journal of Gypsy Law Society. Do have a look if you're interested. Look up Joshua Scamp because there's a lot more different variations to the story. But for now, that's it. So if you enjoyed watching my video, then please do remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.